and also reading component as well. Okay, so this is a very important question. This is one of the targeted questions. Okay, so let's move on to the second question. Right, so the second question is describe image. So let's see. Describe image. Students, you can mute your mics because otherwise it's disturbing. So the second question is describe image. So let's see. So the describe image question is it's in the orange color area, which means once again it's also another targeted question, right? So here you can see 22.2 marks are allocated, and also averagely you are getting 3 questions. Okay, and you can see this whole 22 point marks are only for your speaking component. That means this question will only affect your speaking component. Okay, so let's move on to the next question as well. So the next question is retell lecture. So let's see. Right, so the retell lecture is you can see it's also in the orange color zone. Okay, so once again, this is also a targeted question. So we got read aloud and also we got describe image, and also now we are getting the retell lecture. So retell lecture is also another important question. So 20.9 marks are allocated, and usually you are getting one question, and this 20.9 marks are also divided in between speaking component and also the listening component. That means this question is going to affect both your speaking and also listening. Right, so let's move on to the last question as well. Right. So when we consider about the last question, which is the answer short question, let's see. Right. So the answer short question is in the yellow color zone, which means it's an average question, and you are getting 9 marks for this. And also usually you are gonna get 5 questions. And you can see this mark is divided 2.5 for speaking and also 6.6 for the listening module. So this is how your marks are gonna get allocated for your exam. So you now I told you there are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 questions for your speaking module. And today we are going to look into the read aloud component. Okay, so the other aspects we are going to discuss in the next stages, but for today we are going to look into the read aloud component and how it's done. Okay, so I will share the screen for that now. Right. So you can see my screen, right? So let's see how a question is done. So when we talk about read aloud, I want to say some important factors. So it's better if you can note these down. Right. So first of all, before we move on to anything, let's just go through the instructions. Look at the text below. In 40 seconds, you must read this text aloud as naturally and clearly as possible. You have 40 seconds to read aloud. Okay, so that means you are given this small passage. What you are required to do is you are required to uh, speak this as naturally as possible, naturally and also clearly. That means you are not sorry, you are not going to read this like word by word, also just like sentence by sentence, not like that. You're just going to read this naturally and also clearly as a paragraph, right? So you can take some pauses in between, that's fine. So you can take some pauses in these full stops. You have to take pauses. Why? Because even if you do not take any pauses, it will be unnatural, right? So uh, it will be like you are panicking, right? So you have to indeed obviously take some pauses in between, but make sure those are not long pauses. Okay, so that's one. So note that down. No unnecessary long pauses. Okay. So the second one. So the second important one is no self-corrections, right? So why? Because let's see. While the Republican field is packed with male candidates, so let's say that you just pronounced a word in a wrong manner. So let's say you just said male candy, right? So don't ever, if you just say like this, yeah, packed with male candy, so far some of the sharpest. So like that, if even if you make a mistake here, even if you pronounce a word wrong here, don't ever go back again like male candy. No, male candidate. So like that, don't ever correct yourself, right? So it is very important. So keep note of that. So even if you pronounce a word in a wrong way, don't ever repeat that. Just keep going. Okay, so that's very important. And also, this is just same as the no self corrections one, no rephrasing. That means once if you like pronounce a word wrongly here, if you're going to start again from here, yeah, that's also a big problem. So don't do that. Even if you make a pronunciation mistake somewhere here, you can't do that. But even let's say in one point, you just had to, you just pronounced a word wrongly. So in that cases, do not ever repeat the sentences or like start again. So don't do that. Just keep going. Okay, so that's important. And also another important thing. Right. So the other important thing is do not add any extra words other than what is said here. Right. So don't add any articles or any other words apart from what is given here. Right. So, so, so that's also very important, student. So don't add any extra words. So don't add any us, thus, or is anything, any article, or any new word, don't add. So that's also a big issue. That will also affect your reading marking. So don't do that as. So that's also important. Note that down. Okay. So the next one. So the next one is no hesitations. Right. So while you are speaking, do not make any hesitations. Right. So that means just give me a minute. Till I have some water. Just give me a minute. Sorry about that, students. So, as I said, no hesitations in between. So, hesitations means when you are just going through this paragraph, don't take any long pauses and then don't take any, let's say, when you're speaking, you are just saying, so don't do that, right? So, for example, while the Republican field is speaking packed, so like that, don't make that mistake. That means no self corrections, no rephrasing, no add-ons, and also no hesitations. That's important. And also, this is something that I just told you, no pauses in between. So pauses also count as hesitations. So don't take any long pauses. So you can take pauses. I told you, students, you can take pauses but in certain places only, right? So in certain full stops, you can take a short pause, right? A little pause, right? So it's not a long pause. You cannot take any long pauses, but a short pause is fine, right? So that's another one. So when you're taking a pause as well, you have to maintain the fluency. So the fluency should not be damaged, right? So when I talk about fluency as well, there are two aspects or two criterias which the computer assess when you are attempting this question. So what are they? So the first one is oral fluency, right? So the first one is oral fluency. That's one. And also the second one is pronunciation, right? So that's why you cannot mispronounce any words. And also that's why you cannot uh, correct yourself or add any words or nothing, right? So that's why, because the computer assesses your fluency and also your pronunciations. So the other one is speed consistency, right? So when we talk about when we talk about speed consistency, students, you cannot go really fast in this, right? So, and also you cannot go really slow. You have to keep a moderate speed. You have to maintain a moderate speed. Because if not, if you are going too fast, the computer will detect your panicness, right? So it will be detected as panic behavior. So the computer might not catch some of your words, what you're saying, right? So if you go too slow, you won't be able to finish the whole passage. So that's also important. So you have 40 seconds to read this, right? So never take the whole 40 seconds, right? So just try to finish at least within 35 or something, 35 seconds. So do not exceed that limit, because if you exceed the like the if you still sorry if you stay till the timer goes off, then the computer will detect that you haven't completed the task fully. So always once you are completed, always make sure to click the next button right away, right? So do not wait after you have completed the task. Always after you have completed, click the next option. Okay, so that's also important. So make note of what I just told you. Give me a minute. Okay, so I will just show you how just one question is done for your understanding. But excuse my voice, students. I'm a little bit sick, so it might be not be perfect, right? So excuse that. Let's just give it a go. Right. So I'm going to give it a go for this question. So let's see. Right, so after the timer goes off, I'm going to start reading this. So let's see. There are a number of tests available which can suggest if a person is telling the truth, but knowing which ones are accurate is not easy. A newly created test is claimed to be the most accurate yet in lie detection. However, questions have been raised about its accuracy and ethics. Right? So, like this, so this check option is only for your practice purposes. This is not available obviously in your examination. This is just to practice, right? So after you have finished, you can check yourself. So here you can see a transcription is given. So what and also your answer. So you can see some of the in the red color, it has given some words that the computer has not detected, right? So the tests, if newly. So these words have not been catched by the caught by the computer. So all of these you can check yourself when you are doing practices, right? So and also you can listen to a sample audio here. So that's also another option. So in the examination, after you are done, always make sure to click the next option. Do not wait after you are done. Just after you are done, make sure to press the next option. Right. So when I talk about this question, students, so that's about the read aloud question. So when we talk about the speaking component, students, so today we discussed about read aloud component and how it's done. So I'm pretty sure that you have an understanding now how you have to face this question. Okay. So in the next stage, what we are going to do is we are going to discuss these three questions. Okay. So we are going to discuss repeat sentences, describe image, and retell lecture. And in the next review sessions, we are going to discuss answer short questions, personal introduction, and also some important aspects of all these questions, right? So some important information, how to manage the time, and everything will be discussed in the review sessions, right? So in the first stage one, now what you need to do is, students, so once you are done with the session, you can go to the classroom tab within 24 hours. These materials will be allocated for you, right? So under the speaking read aloud task, you will be given the test format and also the marking criteria. So make sure to go through the test format and also the marking criteria once again after you are done with the session. So you can go through this. So and again, so after the session, you will be allocated with an assignment, right? So this assignment will be allocated in the intensive training platform. So here it will be set assignments for you. So for me, it says review assignments, but for you, it will say assignments. So when you click on assignments, you will be directed to the read aloud. So when you click on read aloud, you will have to enter, then you will be directed where you have to select the lecturer's name and begin the task. Right. So when you have to select the lecturer's name, you can select the lecturer. If you know someone, you can select them. If not, you can select my name. So I will share my name in the chat box before we end the session. So you can submit it to me. Right. So once you submit within 48 hours, I will give you the feedback whether you are capable of joining the next stage sorry, next stage 2 session. Whether you are capable or not, I will give you feedback and then you can take the next stage 2 session. So that's the procedure in the first stage. So do you have any questions in this? Anything to clarify in read aloud or any marking criteria questions?
Just a quick question.
Yes.
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 So, how many attempts will we be getting to review our assignments? Can we submit multiple assignments for it?
Yes. Yes, you can, but yeah, that's not an issue. Uh, yeah, that's not an issue. Who is this? I cannot.
This is Ananda, sorry.
Ah, yes. So that's not an issue, Anuruddha. You can, even if you need to submit the assignment again, that's not an issue. So once the lecturer decides if you are okay to join the next stage, that's not a problem.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so any more questions? Any doubts regarding read aloud question or marking criteria?
Sorry, this is
Yes.
Anirudh again. I do have another question. Don't know whether
Yes.
this is the time to ask this question. It's about the structures that in the initial introduction that it was said that we will be getting some structures regarding these examinations.
Mhm. Yes, yes, of
Is it
course.
too early for me to ask this? So will you be
No,
getting
that's
it?
fine, Anuruddha. So anyway, this is the first speaking stage one class, right? So when you go forward in the next stages, so like stage two writing, stage two listening. So in these stages, you will be definitely getting structures, simplified structures that you will be able to do some questions without any hassle. Okay. So do not worry about that.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? So I have to add something to this. So when you're attempting students, before you attempt, at least try to do some questions, right? So at least 50 would be really good. So if you can at least try 10, 20, 50, so it's up to you. Once you're confident only, try the assignment, right? So it will be more helpful for you. So we advise as lecturers for you to attempt at least 50, right? 50 would be great. With the time that you have and your capability, you can attempt as much as you like and then attempt the assignments. Okay. So, any other doubts?
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm Hasini here.
Yes. Yes.
Do we have to train on that platform also, that AI? Other than this, there's another platform.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At the registration, yeah, at the registration, they have told that we have to pay separately and take that platform.
Mm-hmm.
It is good for us.
Mm-hmm.
So while doing these lectures, we have to do that also. Or
Yeah. So, Hasini, it would be better. Why? Because, like in the PT AI, PT Labs 3, yeah, PT Labs 3, there would be more features, right? Like the real exam situation. So if you can practice in that, it will be more advantages for you. But even if not, you can practice through the
in this also.
tool as well. That's not
Okay.
an issue. It's up to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, so I will share my name in the chat box. So you can submit your assignments there. So I shared my names, students. So if there are no any other questions, we can wind up for today. So are there any questions? Then we can wind up the session. So just as I told you, practice a little bit and then attempt the assignment, right? So have a nice day, students, and keep practicing. I wish you all the very best for your practices.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
And one quick question: will you be sharing the
Yes.
name?
Yeah, I just shared in the chat, Anuruddh.
In this meeting's chat?
Yes, in the meetings chat. Oh, sorry, it's a sorry, it's a student. Really sorry about.
You can even tell us the name.
Yeah, I just shared that. I think it's visible for you now. All right. Okay.
Have a good day.
Okay. Thank you. All right.